Hey everybody! I promised you guys that I would let you know how my Meps experience went, and I'll go ahead and let you know kind of the insight of how I felt when I went to Meps and kind of what my experience was. I actually stayed the night in the hotel before the night before. I actually had to go into the Meps for my physical. I did have a roommate, and she was just like me. She was really awesome. We were really tired, so we both took a shower and we hit the bed pretty early. We both had to be up by 4 o'clock downstairs and eating breakfast at 4:15. Done eating breakfast at 5 o'clock and ready to get on the bus at 5:15, and the bus showed up at 5:20, which I drove, so I was ready to go. Like, I already had my car ready. As soon as the bus pulled up, I went straight behind the bus and just rode with them, or actually rode behind them to the Meps station. Once I got there, parked my car, we all got out, we got in 3 rows, and they kind of briefed us about what was getting ready to happen, which was we were getting ready to go through a metal detector, and if we had any knives, guns, any kind of weapons or whatever, if we did find them once we got through the metal detector, you would not be able to go through. So you had to give up whatever you had in your pockets before you got in through the metal detector. After that, we went through the metal detector, and then we got back into lines, and we got a briefing saying what was going on. We needed to meet with our liaison, which is each branch of the military has a liaison there. It's pretty much a recruiter for whichever military you are, there to like kind of assist you in anything that you need. He takes care of your paperwork, all that kind of stuff. Which if you're active duty, you'll actually speak with him about the job that you want. Which if you're reserve, you won't get to talk to them. They'll just look over your paperwork and make sure everything's okay, and then they'll send you on your way back home so that you can meet with your recruiter, because reserves, you talk to your recruiter about what job you want instead of meeting with somebody that you don't. Here's my cat. She always wants to be in our videos. After we met with our liaison, I actually had to take off my toenail polish. I guess I wasn't really sure that we had, like, if we had to have clear nails everywhere, but at first I thought it was just your fingernails, but then once I got there, I had to take off my toenail polish, which they didn't have acetone, so it took me like 45 minutes to get it off with regular toenail polish, a remover. After that, we did the weights, where you are standing with your legs shoulder width apart, and you lift up on this weight to see exactly how much weight you can lift. The males and females are different unless you're just a really buff woman. After that, we went and got our fingerprints done, so that whenever anybody needed to pull up our information, all you had to do was put your little fingerprint down to access your information. Got that done, and we had to sit down and wait for us to be called forward to go into the actual medical part of Meps. Once we got in there, they're like really strict about sanitation, so you have to sanitize your hands a lot that day, so your hands are probably going to be dried out, but you have to do it because they're like obsessed with you being clean in the medical part. So you get your information. They give you this little piece of paper. Females, you get a pink piece of paper. Males get a blue piece of paper, and it tells you what you're actually going to be doing. It tells you each step of, like, your eyes, your ears, all that kind of stuff. It tells you which step to go through. As we were sitting there, I got my blood pressure taken, and then was sent to get my eyes checked, which we did a precision, and you had to read stuff. Also, we had to do the one where they actually look into your eye. Like, if you've ever been to the eye doctor, you'll look in with one eye and you'll see a red barn or a red balloon or something like that, and it focuses and then it out focuses, so it like tells you how far you can see or whatever. Then after that, we went to go check our ears. We did a hearing test, which was in a soundproof little booth like thing, and then after that, I was the first female to get my blood drawn, which I am highly afraid of needles. But I was like, you gotta put a front up. You can't act like you're afraid, because they'll probably say something to me. So I went in. She stuck me in this arm, and she couldn't get any blood to come out, so she stuck me again, and nothing came out. So she decided to stick me in this arm. As soon as she stuck me in this arm, I think my body was like, here, have some. Quit sticking me. But it was only 3 times, so it wasn't that bad. But honestly, it did hurt a little bit. After that, I had to go pee in a cup, and the funny thing is that you have to pee in front of a nurse, which it's really not that bad. Like, don't think about it, and it's not that bad. Like, I always make jokes out of things so that it doesn't seem as serious. So it was like 2 stalls. I was in one stall. There's no door, but there's a wall in between you and the other person using the restroom. The nurse says to you, pull your pants and underwear down to your ankles, and we need at least half a cup. So she turns the water on, and I make it a joke, like, oh, you have to turn the water on? She's like, yes, I do. And I was trying to make a joke out of it because, like, I'm trying to pee here. And so I went ahead and did that. And they check you for pregnancy tests. This is for females. Pregnancy test, drug test, all that kind of stuff that does with that. After that, we had to go into a briefing, basically, to fill out our health paperwork. And then it pretty much told you can't lie about anything, all that jazz. Then I went and spoke with a doctor, one-on-one. He wanted to make sure if I had any markings on my body that would be noticeable, which I do. I have a scar on my stomach. It's about 3 inches long. It's when I had my appendix taken out. I was the only girl there without any tattoos, so I thought that was pretty cool for me. And then I didn't have to get that measured or anything. It was just a look, and it was 3 inches long. After that, we had to wait a little bit for everybody, like females and males, to get done. The males and females get split up at that point, and they go into other rooms, and they strip down into their underwear and bra, or just your underwear for males. And you get to do your exercises. You get weighed. They measure any of your tattoos or markings, and you do your little exercises like twirling your arms and jumping like a frog and doing all that kind of stuff. After that, we went into a room where we had the female nurse, and then we had a male nurse there a male doctor there because there was no other female doctors there. But basically what they do is they're not really checking for anything. They're just making sure they're checking that you're female or male. And then they check your stomach to make sure there's no weird things going on. They check your chest just to make sure. I'm not sure what the males do. I'm sorry, I wasn't there for that one, but that's what they did. They check chest, stomach, and then they make sure you're female. And then after that, I was done with my medical part. I just had to wait for my liaison to say, okay, you're good to go. Which he was talking to another person. It took him like a really long time. So they fed us. We had like subs and drinks and all that kind of stuff. And then I got my paperwork and went back to him, and he saw me. He was like, hey, you're good to go. And I was there. Well, I woke up at 4 a.m. and then I was out of Meps by 12 o'clock and was back home by 3. So it was really not a bad experience. I feel like that day, I don't know, like I've seen other people's videos saying that it's like really harsh and like people hate going to Meps and it's this big ordeal, which I don't feel like that was what it was for me, because it was if people would just sit down, be quiet, and do what you're supposed to do and just move on, and the day would go by quicker. Like, we were all pretty much done. I'm sure, well, the bus didn't come to pick the other people up till like 6 o'clock, I think, so they were waiting around, but they had a lot more stuff to do because they were active duty. So I didn't have that much stuff to do because I drove myself as well, so I was out of there pretty early. But overall, I think my Meps experience was really great, and I don't have any complaints. I think it was a good experience. I mean, I was a little nervous at first because I don't really like going places by myself, especially places I've never been to before, but kind of have to get over that pretty quick, I guess. So if you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer any of them for you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.